1, 2. Hi, I'm James, and this is the Sober James Addiction Recovery One Day at a Time live stream daily. We're working out a time to do it. What time do you recommend? Meanwhile, let's talk about meditation. I use the program of Alcoholics Anonymous to recover from the seemingly hopeless state of alcoholism and addiction to drugs and compulsive behaviors. My drug of choice was alcohol, but I'll use anything. You know what I mean, man? And I'm sure you would too. I would like to, while you viewers of Yorn trickle in, read step 11 from the 12 steps and the 12 traditions of Alcoholics Anonymous. Step 11. We sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God as we understood Him, praying only for knowledge of His will for us and the power to carry that out. Prayer and meditation are our principal means of conscious contact with God. You might say to yourself, what's all this God talk? I'm trying to quit drinking, not go to church. Well, you don't have to go to church. The main step 2 states that we come to believe in a power greater than ourselves that can restore us to sanity. This step isn't about God. This step is about something greater than you, so you stop spinning your wheels trying to solve the unsolvable problem of your alcoholism. You know what I mean, man. So meditation. I didn't know what meditation was. I still don't know what meditation is. Well, I do now. If you look meditation up in the dictionary, it'll say a practice where you focus on the present moment. Let go of your worries and fears, future tripping, being depressed about the past. And that is the definition of meditation. I had to learn. Meditation and prayer are essential to recovery according to the program of Alcoholics Anonymous. AA saved my life. I listen to everything they have to say now, including meditation and prayer. So I had to learn. So I read from the 12 steps, what's up, Mike Tucker, and 12 traditions, what we are going to read now. We AAs are active folk, enjoying the satisfactions of dealing with the realities of life, usually for the first time in our lives, and strenuously trying to help the next alcoholic who comes along. So it isn't surprising that we often tend to slight serious meditation and prayer as something not really necessary. To be sure, we feel it is something that might help us to meet an occasional emergency, but at first many of us are apt to regard it as somewhat mysterious skill of clergymen from which we may hope to get a second-hand benefit, or perhaps we don't believe in these things at all. To certain newcomers and to those one-time agnostics who still cling to the AA group as their higher power, claims for the power of prayer may, despite all the logic and experience and proof of it, still be unconvincing or quite objectionable. Those of us who once felt this way can certainly understand and sympathize. We well remember how something deep inside us kept rebelling against the idea of bowing before any God. Many of us had strong logic too, which proved there was no God whatsoever. What about all the accidents, sickness, cruelty, and injustice in the world? What about those unhappy lives which were the direct result of unfortunate birth and uncontrollable circumstances? Surely there could be no justice in this scheme of things, and therefore no God at all. Sometimes we took a slightly different tack Sure, we said to ourselves, the hen probably did come before the egg. No matter, the universe had a first cause of some sort. The god of the atom, maybe, hot and cold by turns. A word. We liked AA all right, and were quick to say that it had done miracles, but we recoiled from meditation and prayer as obstinately as a scientist who refused to perform a certain experiment lest it prove his pet theory wrong. Basically, we recoiled from meditation and prayer. I recoiled from meditation. I learned prayer. I am a recovering Catholic as well. I know I was raised Catholic. And what's up, Noah? The Bible explains a lot of stuff. I have yet to read it. My Bible right now is the Big Book of AA, the Big Book. Some people call the Bible the Big Book. But God of your understanding is the important part. It's not important that you believe in Jesus or Buddha, or it's not important what God you believe in. The focus, it seems, is that you no longer believe yourself to be the be-all, end-all to all of the... Oh, I said that? Read the Big Book, clean house, help others. Well, that I sound pretty smart when I talk like that. Let me tell you something. Read the Big Book, clean house, help others. You know what I mean? Boom. Go to meetings. Noah can't go to meetings, though. He doesn't have a whip. He doesn't have a ride. This is a problem with a lot of people in early recovery via DUIs or other problems. First of all, I want to thank you guys for joining my membership and supporting the channel. Yesterday, I got a little human in front of the camera when it came to how I'm going to get my income. So the promise that my fear of economic insecurity will leave me. What's up, AA promises? Did they lie? Did they lie to me? My fear of economic insecurity has not left me. I live in America. Fear of economic insecurity is what makes this country run. So, meditation, is it necessary? Prayer, is it necessary? Well, does AA say do it for the alcoholic? Yes. But as a good alcoholic, a good rebellious and stubborn alcoholic, like many of us, I bucked everything that AA suggested at first until I relapsed enough. Every time I relapsed, I took more and more. The last thing for me to accept was God. This invisible, seemingly thing. But AA says God of your understanding. So let's read on. Those of us who have come to make regular use of prayer would no more do without it than we would refuse air, food, or sunshine. And for the same reason. When we refuse air, light, or food, the body suffers. And when we turn away from meditation and prayer, we likewise deprive our minds, our emotions, and our intuitions of vitally needed support. As the body can fail its purpose for lack of nourishment, so can the soul. We all need the light of God's reality, the nourishment of His strength, and the atmosphere of His grace. To an amazing extent, the facts of AA life confirm this ageless truth. Say what? I'm an agnostic. Talking to me about God and shit. I came here to stop drinking. What's all this God shit? Is what I said at first. I know now that it is very important that we understand that we are not in charge. It is very important that we give ourselves over to a higher power, a power greater than ourselves. It is very important that we come to believe in a power greater than ourselves that can restore us to sanity. And we demonstrate humility by praying to this. And we don't know what it is. Nobody knows God. There's 5 or 7 billion people on planet Earth. Not one of them knows God. These are my opinions, but it is important that I humble myself and through prayer and meditation, establish a conscious contact with a God of my understanding. Sigma says the Bible isn't bad. I just don't like how people act. Like, if you do this or do that, you go to hell, it feels like. Or if you don't believe in this, you're done for. Or maybe that's just me. It's difficult. Theology, religions, it's difficult. I've found God in AA. God brought me to AA, and AA showed me God. That's how I imagine my story to be played out. This time, God was the last part of my recovery. In the 12 steps, it starts out with the word alcohol is only mentioned in the first half of the first step of all 12. We realized we're powerless over alcohol and our lives had become unmanageable. After that, alcohol isn't mentioned at all. The second step is we came to believe in a power greater than ourselves that can restore us to sanity. Okay, if I'm powerless over alcohol, which I am, who here doesn't believe they're powerless over alcohol? You will experience evidence that you indeed are, if you are an alcoholic. There's other things that we practice powerlessness. We have to admit powerlessness over. I'm not the almighty, all-powerful Omega Alpha. I am not the be-all, end-all. If you asked me if I was, I probably would have told you no, of course not. But why am I walking around like my ideas and my opinions and my decisions are the way to go? Obviously, they're not. They've gotten me jails, institutions, and hospitals. So obviously, I need a different way of life. For me, meditation is reading the literature of AA, reading prayers like the St. Francis prayer, the Serenity prayer, and then closing my eyes, focusing on the present moment and thinking about that literature, prayer, or passage. This for me, and this is how they tell you to do it, I had to read, just like a lot of other things when I got sober. In life, I had to read the instructions from the big book. The big book of Alcoholics Anonymous is a blueprint for me to live without alcohol. I was drinking alcohol because I was disturbed as an alcoholic. I had to stop drinking alcohol. So then I was just still disturbed as an alcoholic without my medicine. So AA is the new medicine. The groups, for me, the literature, and meditation and prayer was one of the last things I was willing to do. I didn't purposely ignore the fact that they were saying meditation is pretty necessary. Well, what is it, AA? If you're so smart, what is meditation? Nobody seems to know. Go ask somebody what meditation is. They don't know. Well, I looked it up today. I was in a meeting. It was on this particular subject. It was on step 11, sought through meditation and prayer to maintain our conscious contact with God. And I looked up the definition of meditation. Do y'all want to hear it? Because I'm sure nobody here knows what meditation is anyway. All right. Definition of meditation.
Here's the definition of meditation: the action or practice of meditating.
Yeah, well, a written or spoken discourse expressing this isn't what I read. This isn't along the lines of my plan. To engage in contemplation or reflection. The best definition of meditation, Latin meaning thinking deeply about something. That can be meditating on something. This is what I do. This is what the book suggested I do, and this is what I do now. I'll read some AA literature, the daily reflections, the daily meditation. It's got a daily meditation. I'll read the daily meditation of AA. There's one for each day of the year, 365, and I'll meditate on those words. That means I won't think my alcoholic thinking anymore. And you know the alcoholic thinking. The thinking that just won't shut up. It tells you you're less than. It tells you you need stuff. It tells you everything it needs to tell you to get you back to a drink because it's trying to kill you. That alcoholic thinking. I clear my mind of that. And I think about what I just read in the daily meditation or the daily prayer. This for me stops the incessant cyclical alcoholic thinking, the diseased, negative, incessant chattering of the alcoholic voice in my head, and replaces it slowly but surely with practice one day at a time. Hopefully, it's going to replace my alcoholic thinking. And I'm a changed man. I'm growing and changing every day. I'm changing from a dying alcoholic to a recovering alcoholic to a human being. Through practices like this, meditation and prayer, conscious contact with the God of my understanding. Hey, I thought I was too smart for God. I thought I knew all the reasons why God doesn't exist. I thought meditation was bullshit. I didn't know how to do it, so I was scared to start, and I was intimidated by how I couldn't seem to meditate, and nobody knows how to do it. I must not know how to do it. And I just never did it. But when you're desperate enough, Noah, when you're desperate enough, you do whatever it takes to survive. And for an alcoholic to survive, according to Alcoholics Anonymous, meditation and prayer to establish and maintain a conscious contact with the God of your understanding is necessary for recovery. I've heard old school, salty, recovering alcoholics say you can't do it. You cannot do the program without God. I didn't listen then. 10 years passed since then, and I finally had to listen, because if you don't humble yourself before God, he will humble you. Or alcoholism will humiliate you, making you humble. Read Bill's story, Noah. Read the book from the very beginning. The way I see it, writers of books want you to read from the very beginning. But you don't have to read the forward to the 4 editions. They're kind of whatever. You don't have to read anything. Read what you want. Hey, Bonnie. What's up, Taj Coffee? Harry Jones? D'Artagnan. Skied in Slovakia in the Tatras Mountains. Good to see you too, Bonnie. Yeah, I was going hard at the whole become a member thing last night. I don't know. I didn't like the way I looked. I didn't like that look on me as far as begging you guys to become members. So here's the deal. The membership is there. You can there's 3 different tiers, and you get various perks throughout the tiers for supporting the channel. Do it if you want. Don't do it if you want. But for marketing practices, I will guide you to where to do it. It's posted up in the chat box. There's also, I forgot the goal. But so meditation, what is it? Does it get you high, man? Because if it doesn't, what am I wasting my time doing it for if it doesn't get you high? That's how I think. Well, you have to have an open mind and a willingness to try. You have to be honest, open, and willing to recover. HOW, how do we recover? Honest, open, and willing. Desperation will make you pretty willing. So I was willing to learn about meditation. Bonnie says, I'm 2 years sober now, so great, and making good decisions with a clear head. Bonnie, I'm so happy to hear that. And more will be revealed more as you grow in sobriety and recovery. We get to grow like normal peoples. Everybody else got to grow when we were drinking our feelings. Now, when I feel pain, frustration, angst, I'm like, yeah, I will feel this and grow. I'm growing. And I'm happy for you, Bonnie. I am 446 days sober. It's a little over a year. Time, you know what time says? Time says that we must be doing something right a day at a time. That's one thing it says. Another thing it says is that if we're not drinking, Bonnie, for 2 years, you've been handling your feelings naturally. And sometimes this takes meditation, because essentially an alcoholic has a thinking problem. Our minds, the disease won't let us go without drinking. It'll bug us until we drink. It wants to kill us. Meditation and prayer, a power greater than ourselves. These are things we have to harness. What does the big book clearly say, Harry Jones? You left us hanging on that one, Harry Jones. By the way, I've been reading from the 12 Steps and 12 Traditions. This is AA literature. Let's read on. We will want the good that is in all of us, even in the worst of us, to flower and grow. Most certainly, we shall need bracing air and an abundance of food, but first of all, we shall want sunlight. Nothing much can grow in the dark. Meditation is our step out into the sun. How then shall we meditate? And here it is. This is what I read. This is one of the ways I learned. The book and the literature of AA has everything I need to know about being a human being that doesn't drink anymore. So it says, so how then shall we meditate? The actual experience of meditation and prayer across the centuries is, of course, immense. The world's libraries and places of worship are a treasure trove for all seekers. It is to be hoped that every AA who has a religious connection, which emphasizes meditation, will return to the practice of that devotion as never before. But what about the rest of us, who, less fortunate, don't even know how to begin? That's me. Well, we might start like this. First, let's look at a really good prayer. We won't have far to seek. The great men and women of all religions have left us a wonderful supply. Here, let us consider one that is a classic. Its author was a man who for several hundred years now has been rated as a saint. We won't be biased or scared off by that fact because although he was not an alcoholic, he did, like us, go through the emotional ringer. And as he became and came out the other side of that painful experience, this prayer was his expression of what he could see, feel, and wish to become. And it goes a little something like this. Lord, make me a channel of thy peace, that where there is hatred, I may bring love, that where there is wrong, I may bring the spirit of forgiveness, that where there is discord, I may bring harmony, that where there is error, I may bring truth, that where there is doubt, I may bring faith, that where there is despair, I may bring hope, that where there are shadows, I may bring light, that where there is sadness, I may bring joy. Lord, grant that I may seek rather to comfort than to be comforted, to understand than to be understood, to love than to be loved. For it is by self-forgetting that one finds, it is by forgiving that one is forgiven. It is by dying that one awakens to eternal life. Amen. As beginners in meditation, we might now reread this prayer several times very slowly, savoring every word and trying to make it and take in the deep meaning of each phrase and idea. It will help if we can drop all resistance to what our friend says. For in meditation, debate has no place. We rest quietly with the thoughts of someone who knows, so that we may experience and learn. As though lying upon a sunlit beach, let us relax and breathe deeply of the spiritual atmosphere with which the grace of this prayer surrounds us. Let us become willing to partake and be strengthened and lifted up by the sheer spiritual power, beauty, and love of which these magnificent words are the carriers. Let us look now upon the sea and ponder what its mystery is, and let us lift our eyes to the far horizon, beyond which we shall seek all those wonders still unseen. Shucks, says somebody. This is nonsense. It isn't practical. When such thoughts break in, we might recall a little ruefully how much store we used to set by imagination as it tried to create reality out of bottles. Jeremy Armorall, what up? Noah said, somebody told me I have to have a sponsor for the 12 steps to work. Is that true? Yeah, it's highly suggested, yes, because look, we're sick, bro. Our minds are sick. If you do the steps, it's just going to be Noah's steps. The whole point is getting out of Noah and taking on a power greater than yourself. So yes, a sponsor needs, get a sponsor, ask them how they did it. If they have what you want. You wouldn't ask a drunk guy directions. You wouldn't ask a drunk guy how to take you through the steps. You want a sober person. You don't ask yourself either. We're sick. I don't know shit about the steps. I do now. I didn't. And I didn't in the beginning. So yes, have someone who has walked them show you how to walk them. Also, in one of the steps, you need another person. The searching and fearless moral inventory, and then you tell it to God and to another person. You tell them all about your character defects. So yeah, get a sponsor. Your sponsor's the best thing that's ever happened to me. It's like a guide. Had a thinking problem, Bonnie says, while I was actively drinking, made some real poor decisions. Got me a DUI, then ordered into 6 months outpatient rehab. Worked well, but still have my family to mend. Time is the mender. Time. But time takes time. Patience is a power greater than each of us. We're impatient. We want everything now. That's why we drank. We didn't want to pursue happiness through prayer and meditation. We pursued it through a shot glass or 7. Because why not? But it's poison. Alcohol is poison to the alcoholic. There's no doubt in my mind. Prayer and meditation daily. When I wake up, if I remember, because when I if you can probably relate to this, when you wake up, you're already almost in a full-on panic mode about life. When I wake up, my brain is on the bedpost. It's been awake for hours, and it's like, bro, where have you been? We got shit to worry about. 2 years I've trying to mend with my family. They're barely speaking to me. It's a slow process. Time heals all wounds. Also, there's something called a living amends. I'm sure I don't know if you're practicing the same program I'm practicing, but I practice the 12 steps of AA, one of which is make a list of people we have harmed and become willing to make amends to them. And then the next step is making amends, where we won't do more harm by making amends. So we do that. Now, if they don't accept our amends, that's on them. We have cleaned our side of the street. We move on. But I do know from experience that time heals most, if not all, wounds. I have childhood friends I have friends that no longer talk to me. I have one, he was my best friend all through high school and after. I played wall ball with him in elementary school, and anyway, I almost crushed him in a car accident driving drunk. If he was in the seat that he was sitting in 5 minutes previous, he would have been crushed and dead. But he no longer talking to me. I don't blame him either. He told me one time that his dad, when my name was mentioned, his dad would be like disturbed. Because I was trouble, always drunk, almost got the guy killed. So we make amends. Bonnie and your family, prayer and meditation for now, but we cannot control other people. There's the serenity prayer. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. That's a daily prayer for me. If I forget to, which I usually do, I will say it when we say it usually at AA meetings. We say 2 prayers every meeting, at least the ones around here. It's the serenity prayer, and we finish off the meetings with the Our Father. And I know MFers with the serenity prayer tatted on them. Tattooed on their body, the serenity prayer. Grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. That shit is sick, yo. Whoever said that prayer is spitting bars for all eternity. Spitting bars for all eternity. Some sick words. Sick with it. Once more, we read our prayer, and then again to try to see what the inner essence is. We'll think now about the man who first uttered the prayer. First of all, he wanted to become a channel. So this is like us meditating on the prayer. This is what we think about when we shut our eyes after reading St. Francis's prayer. We might think about some things like this. Then he asked for the grace to bring love, forgiveness, harmony, truth, faith, hope, light, and joy to every human being he could. Next came the expression of an aspiration and a hope for himself. He hoped, God willing, that he might be able to find some of those treasures too. This he would try to do by what he called self-forgetting. What did he mean by self-forgetting? And how did he propose to accomplish that? He thought it better to give comfort than to receive it, better to understand than to be understood, better to forgive than to be forgiven. This much could be a fragment of what is called meditation, perhaps our very first attempt at a mood, a flyer into the realm of the spirit, if you like. It ought to be followed by a good look at where we stand now, and a further look at what might happen in our lives were we able to move closer to the ideals we have been trying to glimpse. Meditation is something which can always be further developed. It has no boundaries, either of width or height. Aided by such instruction and example as we can find, it is essentially an individual adventure, something which each one of us works out in his own way. Meditation, personal, intimate relationship with God. I've heard AAers say prayer is talking to God, meditation is listening. So, to the answer to my question, does meditation get you high? Because if it doesn't, I don't see any point in doing it. But it's being a power greater than myself. AA, the literature, is a power greater than myself. When I listen to the suggestions of Alcoholics Anonymous literature, the results are results that are powerful, more powerful than my results. They're foreign. This whole life is foreign. If I were to do what I've always done, I will continue to get what I've always got. If I do what AA suggests, I will get what AA promises. And the 9th step promises are literally, they're literally what I'm here, what I get sober for. They're what I practice the program for. I suppose I could sponsor you, man. If you, the only things I will suggest are things that have proven to make my life better in sobriety. If you want that, then you will take the suggestions and do them without reserve. Being an alcoholic and a young one at that, you will probably buck a lot of what I suggest to do, like going to a meeting, one a day for 90 days. I know all the resistance to that because I was there. I say, like, one a day? Bro, I don't even have a home. How the hell am I supposed to get to one meeting a day? I don't have a car. I don't have a home. I don't have a job. Well, I found a way to get to the liquor store, didn't I? That was what my sponsor said. You drank every day, didn't you? Well, yeah, but nothing. If you can drink every day, you can go to a meeting every day. And I wasn't willing to do that until I was. And that's what's called rock bottom. That's what's called the gift of desperation. The reason it's called a gift, when you're so desperate and hurt and in pain and hopeless, that is a gift, because now you start taking the suggestions that old Sober James gave to you. Now you start listening to the literature of the big book. That's why it's called a gift of desperation. All of your pride and your ego and all of your I will do it and all of the I don't need prayer and meditation, all of that gets wasted to the wayside by almighty alcohol. And now you're just in the gutter again, damn near dead. Jails, institutions, and damn near dead. And you're willing to go to a meeting every day if that's what it takes. And you start to go to a meeting every day, and your life gradually but surely starts to turn around. And you're like, well, maybe old SJ was right. And that maybe turns into a definitely, because 90 days pass, you haven't drank. You used to drink every day. 90 days passes, you haven't drank. 6 months goes by, you haven't drank. You haven't even really thought about drinking. You're like, who am I? I don't even know what's happening. I'm doing shit for other people. I'm going to meetings. I'm making coffee. You're changing. I begin to change. I got these people in AA looking at me like I'm a ghost or something. Like, you see the way people are looking at you, they got awe in their eyes. The person you came in as is no longer present. You are a new, brand spanking new person. And some of the ways people look at you, you feel awesome. You feel awesome, which is needed, because when we hit rock bottom, we feel like the scum of the earth. And we pretty much are. The alcoholic in his cups is an unlovely creature. Bonnie says some find their bottom in jail or in court, but yes, the gift is that the gift is that changed my life. It turned out to be a gift in disguise. Word. These things that we hate, we resist on all terms. And we say, hell no, absolutely not. No way I'm going to be that. No way that'll ever happen to me. All that shit. No way. I can't take it. No way. Well, those things happen to be like the biggest gifts in my life. Everything from jails, institutions to damn near death turns out to be a gift. And this you will hear consistently along from the mouths of people that have recovered from addiction and alcoholism. AA or NA or the 12 steps or getting sober, recovering with a program. The more you put into the program, the more you get. They say they have a live now, and I've heard multiple people over the decades say this, that these are multiple people that don't even live in the same state, don't even know each other. They all say the same thing. AA has given me a life that I couldn't have even imagined. I couldn't have even imagined that life could be this good. If I were to, and I've heard this said too, if I were to have planned it and made wishes, I couldn't have made it as good as it is now, because I didn't know what was good for me. AA does, and I believe it's God. A God of my understanding is the AA program. Let me get my dinner out of the oven. Be right back. Ah. It's your illness, bro. Your illness wants drugs to comfort. Your illness pokes and prods at you, and it wants you to medicate. I'll tell you this. In AA, we don't discuss other drugs. We only discuss alcohol. But there are opinions, obviously. Me personally, in my personal journey, I know I know what I can't go near. And even nicotine is one of those things. Nicotine takes away every motivation for me to live life. I just end up vaping on my couch. So, the other thing, Noah or Sigma, is wait 5 minutes. That craving will pass. The thing about it is, we have been medicating our feelings for our whole lives. Before we learned a different way, we have been medicating our feelings our whole lives, drinking at them, smoking at them, and therefore not learning, because that joint or that alcohol, that'll release dopamine, and especially alcohol will take you away from your problems temporarily. So we don't ever get to deal or feel our feelings, deal with or feel with our feelings. That's not growth, bro. You know what I mean? Whatever your subconscious and your addiction is trying to avoid feeling right now by smoking that joint, you'll never get to grow and learn through. So you will be stunted yet again. So pain is the cornerstone of growth. I think I've heard it said. And I know from experience that this is true. We grow when we feel pain. Pain is growth. No pain, no gain. Pain is growth. As addicts, we don't think we should feel pain. We don't think we should feel uncomfortable. We don't think life should be anything but fun and happiness. Unfortunately, our parents were right when they said, that's life. You know, you got dumped. Your heart feels like it is just in pain. That's life. Me, the alcoholic, will go drink at it. Bonnie says alcohol was my go-to for everything. It gave me comfort until it didn't. Then all came crashing down. True that. If alcohol never had consequences for me, I'd still be drinking it. Alcohol is it is a very effective, stringent solution. It's called a solution. I drank a lot of beers, man. I drank beer, liquor. I drank it all. And I drank a lot. A lot. Because you can't ever drink enough. The alcoholic, my problem isn't that I drink too much. My problem is that I can't drink enough. I drank until I was either on the ground or in jail. And one of those things would happen, and then I would wake up and do it again. Because I couldn't have enough. I didn't know that I need to feel my feelings. I didn't know about meditation. I didn't know about consulting a higher power than myself. So all of my worries, all of my problems came and rested on my shoulders. And no wonder I drank. If I had no higher power other than myself, no wonder I drank. That'll drive anybody to drink. And that is alcoholism. It's a self problem. It's all about everything is all about is all about us. Everything, even the solutions have to come from us. Even solutions that aren't even viable or possible. I'm glad you are alive, Bonnie, and congratulations on your 2 years. It's a day at a time. All of us here have 24 hours. It's today that we're working this thing, recovery. Today. If you told me I could, if you told me in the height of my drinking, if you told me if you go for a year without drinking, I'll give you $1 million. I could have did it. I could have did it. White knuckled it with none of the program or anything like that. But after that year was up, death and the 4 horsemen of alcoholism, the 4 hideous horsemen, terror, bewilderment, despair, and frustration. The 4 horsemen of the alcoholics apocalypse. Well, I got some chicken to eat and some meditation to be doing, and I know you do too. But look into some mindfulness and meditation. I know the resistance you might feel towards it. Meditation, I ain't. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. Meditation. If you're anything like me, you're thinking, does it get you high? Well, then I don't want it. If it ain't a pill, a beverage, if it doesn't get you high, I don't want it. The only problem is stuff that gets me high kills me. The only problem is I can't do enough of it. That's why I'm doing this recovery thing. It's a sufficient substitute for my addictive behaviors. AA, the program, the book. It's a power greater than myself. I have proven to be an alcoholic of a destructive caliber, just a monster. I need a power greater than myself. That one is God. May you find him now. I'm going to eat some chicken, meditate, and be well. I will see you tomorrow. Consider joining the channel, supporting the channel. It comes with perks. And thank you, Bonnie. I'm very happy for your 2 years. The time thing, it's a day at a time. And Noah, it's good to see you still around and trying. Bro, you're young. Easy does it, but do it. Take it easy, but take it. You know what I mean? Recovery, sobriety, the steps, the suggestions. Easy does it, man. You'll be all right. Mind's Eye says I have higher, deeper via meditation than any herb, plant, vine, or drug I have ever tried. Right, via meditation. I haven't had an experience like that just yet, but meditation, here's one thing, even for 3 minutes at a time, if I practice mindfulness, that means stop my incessant chatter that is alcoholic thinking, or just me, and concentrate on my breath, or concentrate on the St. Francis prayer, concentrate on anything but me. I'll tell you one thing, it feels like I got some rest. When I give my brain a break, it feels like I got some rest. Meth is gross, bro. It's gross. It was gross. It was barely anything. I have no idea what the big deal is with meth or cocaine or anything like that. I mean, it's like, I like to be altered, bro. Those drugs just get you amped and fucking like super, super hype. I like to be altered. I like to be calmed down and shit like that. Meditation calms me down. Practicing the program calms me down. Thank God. God calms me down. And talking to you guys calms me down. So have a good night. My girl, my little my girl right there, she says good night. There's a my girl. There's a my girl. And Mikey says good night. Y'all have a good night. I'll see you tomorrow. And we'll keep doing the damn thing. Keep it real. Keep it clean. Keep doing the damn thing. Peace.